All right, everybody. Welcome to the final workshop in our series for disaster preparedness for service providers. My name is Elizabeth Maggio. I'm the Senior Director of SparkPoint at the United Way Bay Area. And this has been an exciting series for me. This is not something that I usually go into. Claire, who's our 211 person, and Annette, who is with Red Cross, do a lot more than I do with disaster preparedness. So it's been a fascinating kind of adventure for me to see all of these things being brought out, and a reinforcement of, the preparedness that we all, well, at least from my perspective, talk about but never quite get to do. So thank you again for coming. Whether you're attending this workshop for yourself, for your household, or to help your work be better prepared or your clients be better prepared, I think you'll really benefit from hearing the two speakers today. Both for preparation, but also what to do after disaster and who to reach out to and what resources are available in your community. We'll have both information, but then we'll also have resources and flyers and places where you can go to digitally if you want some of these materials for you or for your clients. So just to give some brief introductions, Nanette is affiliated with the American Red Cross in San Francisco Bay Area, and she serves as a community partnerships coordinator. And in addition to her professional role, she actively volunteers and contributes to public outreach, storytelling, and disaster preparedness efforts across Northern California and the whole coastal region. Red Cross in the Bay Area works to strengthen local partner networks in areas at high risk for extreme weather and existing barriers to resilience. This collaboration helps build capacity among community partners to deliver critical services such as health, hunger, and housing before and after disaster strikes. And the most significant recovery needs revolve around chronic health conditions, food insecurity, and the availability of safe and affordable housing. Claire is the director of 211 at United Way Bay Area, where she leads efforts to connect individuals and families with critical health, housing, and social services across the region. Claire brings deep experience in community engagement and systems coordination to help strengthen the Bay Area's safety net. So, United Way Bay Area is our route is to dismantle the root causes of poverty. That's really our most basic function. And we also build equitable pathways to prosperity across the region. Through initiatives like SparkPoint and 211 and community partnerships, United Way Bay Area connects individuals and families to critical resources, financial coaching, and support services. Their work empowers communities to achieve long-term stability and to thrive. So before we start, I want to ask that you please introduce yourself in the chat by entering your name, your organization, and the counties that you serve. And that will help the speakers better know where you are and what might be most appropriate for your particular area. If questions come up, please bring them up during the presentation. And then raise your hand or put them in the chat. Either way, we will make sure that the presenters know. Good morning, everybody. All right, we'll start up today with Nanette. And
thank you, Liz. Go ahead.
Let me get things started on my end.
Elizabeth's going to help me with the slides, so thank you.
No worries. All right, does everybody see the presentation?
It's perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing and asking the American Red Cross to join. As Liz was saying, I'm with the Northern California coastal region, and I have the privilege of training our volunteers on how to give this presentation. So hopefully I'll know what I'm doing today. But it's just a pleasure to be here. And I know you've gone through some of the stuff I'm going to talk about. So some of it will be a highlight. But again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Next slide.
Yep.
There we go. So basically, in American Red Cross, we talk about three things to be prepared. One is get a kit. The kit should contain supplies you'll need to shelter at home and one that can carry with you. So I'm going to talk briefly about two types of kits. Making a plan. I'm working with my slides here. Thank you. Sorry. You should identify the steps you'll take to respond to specific disasters. For each disaster, decides who in your household will do what and where you'll go and who you communicate with. And then lastly, we're going to talk briefly about being informed and important that you're informed. Learn how you're going to get information during a disaster, what resources are available, and then this will allow you to act quickly to help yourself and your household. So now let's look at these in a little bit more detail. Next slide. Getting a kit. I spoke a moment ago about two types of kits. There's one that's kind of a household kit or a what we call kind of a shelter in place kind of thing. And it allows you to supply yourself and your household for at least 3 days. And when you're able, hopefully you'll gather enough supplies you could last a week or two. So the other kit is often called a go bag, and it should be a lightweight, smaller version that you'll take with you if you have to leave your home quickly, like for a home fire or an earthquake, that type of thing. I keep mine by the door. It should contain everything that you should need to be on your own for up to 3 days. Based on the needs of your members of your household, you can either have one little kit for everyone or one kit for everyone, or everyone have their separate kits. Customizing it to personal needs is something we consider kind of important as well. Next slide. I'm gathering the essentials, basically non-perishables. I don't want to belabor this. I'm sure you've had a lot of information about what to put in your kits, but easy to prepare foods. Even sometimes a manual can opener if things don't always have an easy way to open. It's always good to remember that. Remember, you may be without electricity, and you may need to have water. Water is kind of important for your stay-at-home kits. One thing that we do recommend is 1 gallon a day per person for your stay-at-home kits. I know it sounds like a lot, but that considers not only kind of personal hygiene, but also for drinking. Excuse me, pardon me. And again, the needs are for every household member, and that's that kind of thing. Next slide. Customizing your kit. I'm catching up. Sorry about that. Okay, so we talked about some essentials. The thing is, when you talk about customizing your kit, you want to think about those in your household: medical supplies, assisted devices, baby supplies, and then of course your pet supplies. We don't want to forget about our animals. Those are things that are going to be super important. I'm talking about. I should have asked. I mean, I know we can't raise our hands here, but how many have pets that are part of your family? Always consider that to be part of your plan. Next slide.
Oops.
It's all right. You're fine. So basically, talk with everyone in your household about how to prepare for and respond to hazards that you're most likely to have in your area. Actually, the one before that, sorry. Which, you know what? Give me a second. I'm sorry. A kit for everywhere. Thank you. Love this slide. This talks about, since we don't know where we're going to be when a disaster occurs, consider preparing supplies for work. Kits should be, for work, should be in some sort of backpack or bag, and it basically is a ready grab and go kind of kit in case you have to evacuate. Have some food and water. Also be sure to have comfortable walking shoes or in your workplace in case an evacuation requires walking long distance. Another one is in your vehicle. If you ever get stranded, same type of thing. This kit should contain food, water, first aid supplies, jumper cables, seasonal supplies, extra blankets. I always carry an extra pair of shoes and extra pair of clothes in my car in case I do get stranded. So especially for the winter months, it's important to have some things that you might need. The other thing you see is next to your bed. The fire department, when we, obviously communicate with them a lot, they're one of our biggest partners. They've told us that some of the biggest problems with people getting injured because of like earthquakes and whatnot is because they don't have shoes underneath their bed. So we always recommend putting shoes underneath your bed in case there is an earthquake, glass around. Lacerations are a huge problem when it comes to trying to get out safely. Always carry under your bed things like flashlight and batteries and some leather gloves in case you do have to get out of a window. So those are some cool tips. Next slide. Okay, so now we're talking about making a plan. Again, talk with everyone in your household about how to prepare for and how to respond to disasters. That's, communication is the key. Identify responsibilities for each member of your household and work together as a team. Don't forget that, again, I'll say, I kind of was saying this earlier, but your pets are important. It's one thing that, of course, you probably know that Red Cross does is we do have our shelters, but some of our shelters can't take pets because of, for other reasons. Other ones, we're working really hard with our partners to accommodate pets. So that's kind of a big thing right now. We're real excited about that. But you still need to make sure you're prepared for your pets, and have ready everything they'll need in case you were to evacuate. So kind of a lot of folks maybe have that with their stay-at-home kind of shelter-in-place items, such as toys, food, water, leashes, that kind of thing for your animals. Super important. Service animals are allowed in Red Cross shelters, of course, but you can also contact your local emergency management agency for the list of pet-friendly shelters in case Red Cross is not involved. The county has them as well. So next slide. Okay, super wonderful information. I love this slide as well. Your plan should include key details. So I know you've covered some of this in your last classes, but identifying 2 ways to evacuate from every room in your home, your neighborhood, in your town, depending how big the disaster is. We'll talk more about this when we talk about home fires, but plan what you're going to do in case you get separated. Choose 2 places to meet, one right outside your home in case of an emergency, such as a fire, and one outside your neighborhood in case you cannot return to your home and you're asked to evacuate. Don't forget to considering transportation challenges some folks might have. And an important part of your disaster plan is how you're going to communicate, right? So especially if you or your members are not all together when the disaster hits. So make sure you have key details somehow written down, contact details about, who and where and what kind of thing. What we'll do when we have at the end of the discussion, like Liz was saying, we're going to have some resources available to you, and that's going to be included. A nice little form you can use, and we'll show it to you in a minute as well. Determine now ahead of time what important record you'll keep. I know you did have a class on this. Awesome to hear. Things like, the safety deposit boxes or fireproof box, put that in there. If you're without power for an extended period of time, it will be important to have a place to stay. Sometimes it's good to prepare in advance on where you might stay, with either if you have pets or if you have special needs. And if you have authorities, again, we always hit this kind of hard. If authorities encourage you to shelter in place, ensure that all your household members are aware of actions they must take and where in the home they should go. Once you have your plans developed, the key part is practicing, of course. Review plans with everyone in your household, and if anyone has somebody that's supporting them, include them as well. Practice with everyone. Super. We can't say enough about practicing, because of course, without everyone's trying it first time, especially with the children, it might not work as planned. So huge. Next slide. This is what I talked about earlier. This is the communication cards that we're going to be providing to you. So I have one, I keep it in my badge, actually. I keep it with me, but keep it in your purse, keep it everywhere. But what it is it's a card you can fill out for each person with information on, where to go, phone numbers. Of course, nowadays we rely on our cell phones, and I rarely remember phone contacts for folks I need to get a hold of. So it's good to have that written down. Choose an emergency contact and have everyone memorize the phone number if they can. During a disaster, household members can text or call this person to let them know they're safe. Make sure you include at least one friend or relative who lives out of town, because sometimes in big emergencies, it may be difficult to make a landline or mobile call to someplace in your area, but you're most likely to reach people out of your area, believe it or not. What I do is I have a cousin who works for FEMA, and he is our contact. So everybody knows, and everybody in my family knows if there's a disaster here, we can't get a hold of her. We call him, He is the relay person. He'll say this person's that place and everyone's fine, blah, blah, blah. So he's aware of it. And it's a real good idea to have that kind of backup. So encourage everyone to download the emergency app. I'll talk about that a couple of different places in this real quick, but the Red Cross has an amazing emergency app, and you can send an I'm safe message there as well. The Be Informed pages she has up is I want to highlight just a couple of things. Know how your community works, warns of a coming disaster. The next one will kind of go over that. But there's other things like NOAA weather radios where you can listen to local station on a battery powered radio or television. This allows access to important information. And I always when I get in depth about talking about what we should put in our kits, I always highly recommend a NOAA weather radio. So next slide. So here we go. Next slide. You can put, there you go. Perfect. This is I wanted to stay here for a minute. This is an amazing, I'm sure most of you have heard of this, but for those who haven't, I want to touch on this briefly. What this is kind of called a reverse 911. When there's a disaster, instead of us calling somewhere to get information, they're contacting us to give us what's going on, where to go, stay in place. It gives you information on evacuation issues, on how to navigate through the disaster. Huge. Whatever county you're in here, please either take a picture of this page, or what will happen is you'll get onto that, like let's take Marin. You're in Marin, you get alertmarin.com. You go into that website, it'll say, sign up. You hit that button, you just give them in your information, and bingo, bango, you're going to be let know all the important information about disasters in your area. So highly recommend you do that even now. And if you're ever notified to evacuate, please do so. There's always people who try to tough it out, and we end up having to rescue them. And so we always give responders a hand and get yourself out of harm's way. So thank you. Next slide. I'd love to touch on this briefly. Disasters can be stressful, of course. The good news is there's things you can do to cope with stress. Be aware, have folks in you and your family be aware of feelings you might feel during a disaster. There's some good information about, let me get to that page. I'm having technical difficulties, believe it or not. So give me just a minute. My silly, give me one sec. Sorry about that. There we go. Got it back. Okay. There we go. Okay. Thanks guys for waiting. Just a couple tips here. During a disaster, stay connected with friends, be patient with yourself and others, set priorities, gather information and about help and resources, eat healthy foods, drink plenty of water, I know these are common sense things, but if stress worsens, we also recommend that you seek immediate help or find someone that can help you with that. So thank you. Next slide. One thing I like to point out about this slide, I love the fact that children, help children by remembering that how adults react can affect how children react. For example, when children sense the confidence we have when we're prepared and we have knowledge, they feel a lot more comforted when we're prepared. So before disaster, help build confidence by including children making the household disaster plan. Encourage your children to talk, listen to them and acknowledge their fears. But during an event, spend extra time with your kids and reestablish daily routines. And the biggest thing too is consider limiting your media resources. Media exposure. There's a booklet available at redcross.org called Helping Children Cope with Disaster. Recommend that if you have children in your household. Next slide. I'm sure those of you who live in an area that a county that has a public safety power shutoff, which is PSPS, you have probably heard of it by now, but just know that staying informed about power shutoffs is critical to your is also critical in some areas. Extreme weather threats can change quickly, and when possible, PG&E will provide customers with advance notice prior to turning off the power. So you'll get a 48-hour notice before it's turned off. You'll get a 24-hour, and then just before, and then you'll have some notifications during the public safety outage, and then you'll be given information on once the power has been restored. So usually what they'll do is if you have a PG&E account, that's how they're going to get a hold of you, through your texting or that type of thing. But just know that that's a program. Sometimes, as we know, they shut it off without the 48 and 24-hour just because of extreme weather conditions. But just know that that is something that is in place that PG&E has. I'm sure you've all heard of it, but just a general reminder that might be happening depending on where you live. Okay. That kind of, I know I skimmed through the essentials, but hopefully that you took away a little something from that. I want to touch base a little bit today about home fires. I'm a DAT team. DAT in our world means disaster action team, and what we do is we go out to home fires once the fire department calls us, and we support folks that have been displaced. So I've seen it firsthand. So I try to spend a few minutes about home fires only to give you a little bit of information. Next slide. Cooking equipment is a leading cause of home fires and fire-related injuries, but it only accounts for about 19% of fatalities. But malfunctioning and improper use of heating, electrical, and lighting equipment together account for 35% of the fatalities, when only 5% of home fires are started by smoking materials, but these are the leading cause of home fatalities. So just a quick info on that. But so how can you reduce, fires in your home? Basic things. But the key is, one of the main key thing is to have a working smoke alarm. And just to let you know that Red Cross does have a program, always have, always will. We have a month where we go out and we do, as teams across the nation, go out and replace home smoke alarms in high risk areas. Usually in May, we do that. If you ever want to get involved in Red Cross, that's a good time to do it. Volunteer to help us do that once a year. But other than that, we do have a team that goes out 24/7 for those. If you contact us, we can come out and put a free smoke alarms into your home. And I have more information at the end about that. But if you have family or friends that that might need this type of thing in a higher risk area, especially, that's something I highly recommend you do, is contact us. The other thing is, there are some important things to remember when it comes to your smoke alarms. Install them in every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. Test them monthly. Replace the batteries. If you don't have one that has a 10-year battery like ours do, replace the batteries at least one time a year. And replace the smoke alarm for every 10 years. If that's the type of one you have. And one more thing we talk about is try not to, it's tempting to disconnect a smoke alarm if it's going off a lot, but never disable a smoke alarm, even temporarily. Use the hush button if it has one. If you have them going off a lot, it's probably time to consider relocating them. But they're also, just to let you know, that Red Cross does have other options for folks. If we have hard of hearing or deaf, there are such thing as bed shakers. There are options out there for people who you want to have stay protected that may have some disabilities. There are options for them as well to be prepared for a home fire. I believe, we'll go ahead and go on. And you can always contact the American Red Cross. I'll have an email at the end here where you can, if you want more information about those kind of things. So everyone in your household needs to know what to do if a smoke alarm goes off. If a fire starts in your home, believe it or not, you have 2 minutes to get out. Just 2 minutes. Get out and stay out. When I teach this to younger folks, they want to go back in for the pets. They want to go maybe back in for something they forgot. But we highly, that's what we hit home with the younger ones. Leave everything behind. If you don't have a go back by the door, don't worry, just go. Never go back in. If smoke or fire blocks one of your ways out, use your secondary way. If you must go through smoke, get low and go under the smoke to escape. Everyone in your household should plan to meet at the designated safe meeting place and call 911 from a safe place. One thing that the fire department does, and I get there just to let you know, is that they'll go ahead and, well, you know what, I'm going to talk about that next, I think. I'm going to wait on that. So planning escape routes. Let's talk about this for a minute. Each room should have 2 exits, such as a door and a window. Make sure the windows and doors open easily. If your home has security wires, make sure they have emergency release. And one thing that we highly recommend is if you're on a second floor, which nowadays a lot of people have their rooms on a second story. Consider escape ladders. They're just foldable ladders that you can have by your windows, and they just fold over, and then you can climb down. Should be part of your practice program as well. But consider escape ladders on second floor areas and homes on the second floor. It's important to keep escape routes free. And as the diagram shows, each room has 2 ways out. The first escape plan out of each room is through the door out of your house. The second should be through the nearest window. Next slide. Knowing how to quickly get out of your home is one part of it. The second one, of course, is it might be confusing when there's smoke and things going on. It's very confusing. So know what you need to do. Know, in that practice plan you have a safe meeting place where everyone will meet in the event of a home fire. Identify a location that is safe distance from your home in a specific area. Make sure it's in the front of your home so you can easily meet the firefighters when they come, so that everyone will know everybody's safe. Remember, always call 911 from a safe place and outside your home. So what I wanted to say earlier was that, the fire department, when they first get there, is they're gonna do a perimeter search. So if people are stuck in and you had to run out, just know that that's why we educate the young, especially when you're up on a second floor and you can't get out. Open the windows, bang, make noises, because they're going to find you. They will definitely find you. Either that or wave flags, anything that you can teach your family member to do. And there's this fire and you have that window availability, they'll find you. So that's the good news. Next slide. It's vital that your escape plan works again. So make arrangements for everyone in your household on what they'll do, how to escape. Make sure that everyone in your household is assigned to a person who requires assistance. And in this example, for example, the family has a 2-year-old son who needs help to evacuate. Mom is the primary person, and if she's away, Dad will be the one to take over. Remember, smoke alarms may not always wake up children in the event of a home fire. So have that plan. And practice it, especially with your pets. There you go. Next slide. It's one of my favorite slides because we forget sometimes the simple stuff. There are a few things that are important when you have to escape from a home fire, particularly if you're in a room behind closed doors. Look for smoke coming through cracks around the doors. And before opening the door, feel the door with the back of your hand. If it's hot, leave the door closed and use your second way out. I'm going to click the next slide. It'll come up. There you go. As a last resort, if you're unable to evacuate, seal your door by placing a cloth around any cracks or openings. Block all the air vents. Call 911. Tell them where you are and signal for help, like I said a moment ago. Use something, flashlights. Remember to practice this with everyone in your household, but that's how they're going to be found, is by alerting the fire department. Next slide. Okay, so you've got a lot of information. I'm going quick, and I'm hoping you're grabbing some really important details. But again, make sure you have a home fire escape plan. In the resources I'm going to give you, there is actually escape route diagrams you can fill out for your family. There's more precise information on creating that fire plan, the escape plan. But secondly, test your smoke alarms monthly. Be sure to practice your home fire escape plan at least twice a year with your household. And again, you're going to get some really cool information at the end of this presentation to make that happen. Next slide. Earthquakes. I'd love to know how many of you have been through an earthquake, but I'm not going to be able to know today, am I? But I know some of us here have been. So in light of that, go next slide. How many Americans do you think are exposed to potentially damaging earthquakes? You can click it again. About half of all Americans. So I'm assuming at least half of us here have been. According to the United States Geological Study, half of us have. When earthquake strikes, I have a question. So the safe thing to do is drop, cover, and hold on. True. Next slide. There we go. Perfect. We'll talk about this more in a few minutes. Next slide. And everybody knows how to drop, cover, and hold on, right? Wish I could demonstrate it for you, but there are things that you can also do to get your home ready for an earthquake. Learn how to shut off your main gas. It's important for all of us to know that, and keep a wrench handy for that purpose in case of fires caused by broken gas or electric lines. Prevent injuries from falling items in your home, and you can do that by bolting and bracing water heaters, and don't hang heavy items such as pictures and mirrors above your bed or couches, that kind of thing. And you should be aware of your area's seismic building standards. You could also, you might, if you're a business owner, you might want to ask professionals about how to do construction in that kind of area. We have some folks that rely on our information as well. You may also want to ask professionals about home repair and strengthening tips for exterior features such as porches, decks, and that kind of thing. Finally, consider buying earthquake insurance. A homeowner's insurance doesn't typically cover earthquake and damage. So if you're in an area that has some seismic activity, a good idea to look into that. And I usually talk about, when I talk about home fires, if you're renting, like, I'm going to throw you things that I'm thinking of while I'm doing other things. But when I run into a lot of folks that are renting, the tragedy is when they have a fire that they don't have renter's insurance. So just going to put it out there. If you are renting, it's not very expensive, and it's an amazing insurance policy if you're renting. So just a tip. At this point, we hope that you and your household can have already taken steps to prepare for disaster. We've talked a little bit earlier before about our bags, our go bags, and what, a lot of information is going to be given to you in the resources I'm going to give you, and what items you can put in your bag. But here's some more information about planning and preparing for earthquakes that you can, if you're in an area that has earthquakes, these are some things to consider putting in your bag. Whistles, the mask, N95. I'm in Solano County, so I've had to pack up a couple of times already, getting ready to be evacuated because of wildfires. So and earthquakes especially too. You want to make sure you have the masks, the fire extinguishers, that kind of thing, just in case you're in an area that has earthquakes. But the reason you put a whistle in is you want to make noise. If there's an earthquake and things are going awry, you want to make sure people can hear where you are. So putting that whistle in your bag is going to be important. Have work gloves, safety goggles, and dust masks that you can, in case you need to clear rubble. And tailor your disaster plan for what you and your household will do during an earthquake. This includes your pets as well. No, you're again going to hit that home. Drop, cover, and hold on. It's another practice. Finally, I mentioned this before, but especially if you're in an earthquake area, you want to make sure you have a NOAA. I highly recommend when you put your kid together, kind of try to save some money to get a NOAA radio. They're not that expensive. If you don't have a battery operated or crank radio, please consider it. If needed, because you can charge things with it. I personally have an actual battery pack, a power pack that can actually, for example, especially if there's an earthquake or something fairly major, you're not going to be able to have much electricity for a while, right? So if you have people that have CPAPs or something that needs, that kind of thing, you're going to want to have a little battery powered something that you can keep people safe with, as far as that have the ailments. So anyway, we talked about as well signing up. This is an important reason why you want to sign up in advance to receive emergency notifications because of to plan for earthquakes. Next slide. At this point, you hopefully have some good information, but this slide is kind of important in that it gives you some, we're all, at least at my age, we're all taught what to do in case something is shaking around you. The truth is drop to the floor as if you're crawling on your hands and knees. We used to, stay inside doorways and things like that, but we teach differently now. Use your arms to cover your neck and your head. That's the way we teach now. Most injuries from earthquakes occur because people moving around, falling and suffering sprains, fractures, and that type of head injuries. So if you can move without injury, crawl under a sturdy table or desk to protect yourself from anything that might fall. Again, consider animals with you as well. Hold on to a sturdy shelter or a piece of furniture until the stopping shakes. Until the shaking stops. If you or someone in your household uses a wheelchair, some good advice: lock the wheels in your wheelchair. Use your arms to cover your head and protect your neck. Good reminder to that's where you want to cover your neck, because that's your neck is your kind of your gateway to your brain and your heart. So always remember to cover. If you happen to be in bed when the earthquake starts, stay there and cover your head. Don't try to get out and walk around and fumble around. Stay in bed, cover your head and your neck with the pillow. Stay in a correct position until the shaking stops. Protect your feet from broken glass by that fall by having the shoes underneath your bed. Use stairs rather than an elevator. And if you smell gas or propane, get out of the house, move as far away as possible, and warn others. So hopefully that is some amazing information. Next slide. If you're trapped inside, do not move about or kick up dust. You don't want to kick up dust that may cause a difficulty breathing. Cover your mouth and nose with a handkerchief or clothing. If you have a cell phone, use it to call for help. Tap on a pipe, wall, or use a whistle if you have one, so that rescuers can locate you. That's if you're trapped inside. Next slide. If you find yourself outdoors, find an open area as far away as possible from anything that could fall on you. This includes buildings, power lines, trees, street lights. Stay in the open area until the shaking stops. If you're in a mountainous area near unstable slopes or cliffs, watch for falling rocks and that kind of thing. Try to stay away from something that could fall upon you. Next slide. If you're driving, pull over to an open location and stop. Avoid bridges, overpasses, and power lines if possible. Stay inside with your seatbelt fastened until the shaking stops. After the shaking has stopped, drive carefully, avoiding bridges and ramps that may have been damaged. And if a power line falls on your vehicle, do not get out. Wait for assistance. Do not get out of your vehicle. So that, in a nutshell, is some little tidbits to take away in regards to earthquakes. Lastly, we want to talk a little bit about wildfires. Okay, trying to keep this fun and simple. Next slide. So far, we've focused on how you can prepare and protect yourself from a lot of different things, right, in your household. But there's some things you can, there's some things you can do to get your house ready for things such as wildfires. Because wildfires can threaten a home in 3 different ways: wind-blown embers, contact by flames, and heat. So the good news is you can make your home more resistant by removing debris and brush around your home. Clean flammable debris from roofs and gutters. Important. Use the fire-resistant construction materials if you have that option. Landscape with fire-resistant plants. There are such things. Ensure your home and neighborhood has legible and clearly marked street names, and check insurance. Some hazards damage property regardless of how prepared you are. So that is why homeowners and renters insurance are so important, like I said earlier. Again, I'm going to hit, this is another place where we talk about renters insurance. It will not cover damage to your possessions in the event of a disaster, but if you're renting an apartment, it is important to know that the landlord's insurance will not cover you. But if you get your own renter's insurance, it's inexpensive, and it can cover a significant amount of your damaged and destroyed property. Next slide. So before a wildfire, and you've been alerted through your notifications, it's going to help you monitor conditions and receive instructions. Keep track of fires near you so you can be ready to move quickly. And we've talked about how to register for those programs. It might be a good idea too, if you have folks that are disabled in your family, understand your community's plan to notify individuals with disabilities. Another plug here for the emergency app. You can also receive free emergency alerts through our emergency app. I'm going to show you a picture of it in a minute so you can see what it looks like. And again, I'll talk about this a second time, but purchase a battery-powered radio to receive information. Huge. It's going to be a huge asset in your preparedness kit. There's air quality index information that you can be made aware of. It's just airnow.gov, and that's some huge, wonderful, reliable information about wildfire smoke and air quality. So it's airnow.gov. Also, these are just resources I'm just going to throw at you. If you're in an area that does have the potential for a lot of wildfires, there's so many resources. And again, Air Resource Advisory may be assigned to provide regular wildfire smoke outlook. So there's going to be a lot of information coming at you. Just keep an eye on what's going on outside. Sometimes warnings do not come through, and we need to be prepared to act. So, but there's a lot of resources out there. And again, you're going to get some at the end of this presentation. Next slide. Your safety depends on understanding wildfires, staying informed about conditions, and acting quickly. So know the types maybe of different of what to expect when you receive them. The National Weather Service issues fire weather watches and red flag warnings to alert fire departments of the onset or possible onset of critical weather. The type of weather patterns that cause a watch or warning include low relative humidity, strong winds, dry fuels, the possibility of dry lightning strikes, or any combination of the above. So a fire weather watch, it means potentially dangerous fire weather conditions are possible over the next 12 to 72 hours. And a red flag warning means that fire danger exists and weather patterns that support wildfire are either occurring or expected to occur within 24 hours. Authorities may issue a fire weather watch before warning, but warning may also be the initial notification. And lastly, during the fire, an extreme fire behavior alert may be issued. This means the wildfire is erratic, intense, and likely to rage out of control. So know your neighborhoods, know your neighbors. This is another plug we put in. Some might need some help. So when you're getting these kind of weather watch information, consider, what you can do for your neighbors as well. Next slide. I'm going to touch real quick on pre-evacuation steps. When an evacuation is anticipated, follow these steps if depending on how much time you have. Shut all windows and doors, remove flammable window shades and curtains and close metal shutters. Move flammable furniture to the center of the room away from the windows and doors. Shut off gas at the meter, turn off pilot lights, shut off the air conditioner. Leave your lights on so firefighters can see your house under smoky conditions. Gather up flammable items from the exterior of the house and bring them inside. Patio furniture, toys, trash cans, that type of thing. Turn off propane tanks. Move propane barbecue appliances away from your structures. And don't leave sprinklers on or water running. They can affect critical water pressure for the fire department. Back your car into the driveway with vehicle loaded and all doors and windows closed. And ensure your emergency supply kit is in your vehicle. Locate your pets and take them with you. Lots of information, but some amazing tips. Next slide. All evacuation instructions provided by officials should be followed immediately for safety. Leave as soon as fire officials recommend evacuation to avoid being caught in a fire. If you're advised to leave, please do so, and officials will determine the areas to be evacuated and escape routes to use depending on the fire's location. So that's the kind of alert you're going to get. It's going to tell you exactly where you can go. You'll be advised. You must take the initiative to stay informed and beware. So listen to your radio, your TV, or announcements from local officials. Next slide. Then just basically don't return home until authorities say it's safe. Use caution when entering burned areas, as hazards may still exist, including hotspots, which can flare up. Avoid damaged or fallen power lines, poles, and downed fires. Watch for ash pits and mark them safely. Warn family and neighbor to keep clear of the pits also. Follow public health guidance on safe cleanup of fire ash and safe use of masks. Children should not do any cleanup work. Wet debris down to minimize breathing dust particles. Check with authorities first, as it's not always recommended. Wear leather gloves and heavy-soled shoes to protect hands and feet. And cleaning products, paints, batteries, damaged fuel containers need to be disposed of properly. Next slide. Ensure your food and water is safe. Discard any food that has been exposed to heat, smoke, or soot, and do not ever use water that you think may be contaminated to wash dishes, brush your teeth, prepare food, that kind of thing, or even especially not to make any baby formula. Next slide. If there's no power, check to make sure the main breaker is on. Fires may cause breakers to trip. If the breakers are on and power is still not present, contact the utilities. Inspect the roof immediately and extinguish any sparks or embers. Wildfires may have left burning embers that could reignite. For several hours afterwards, we check the smoke and sparks throughout the home, including the attic. Usually check the stability of the trees. Any tree that has been weakened by fire may be a hazard. And look for burns on the tree trunks. If the bark in the trunk has been burned off or scorched, the tree will not survive and will be considered unstable. Again, document all of your possessions and take pictures and save receipts. So, what I want to do real quick now, I went through a lot of information, but I want to go over a couple of things we've talked about, just so that you have it and know what it looks like. I talked about the American Red Cross Emergency app. It gives you instant access to customizable weather alerts, safety tips, and preparedness information for 14 different types of emergencies. It's amazing. I wanted to show it to you. That doesn't give it a clear. It's the one with the exclamation point on it. If you have your, I'm going to show you what it looks like. That's the one it looks like. I think you can see that exclamation point. I lost it, didn't I? It's the one with the exclamation point top left. How come it's doing that? Anybody know? Woohoo. Okay, I'm not going to touch it. Top left. Those are all my Red Cross apps. We have quite a few. We have first aid for pets. We have first aid. If you ever, if you're like me and liking these kind of app things, this one's amazing. The emergency app gives you so much information. I have, for example, locations tagged. If there's something going on in that area, it's going to alert me. That's just one on the bottom. Real quick, it talks about, gives you information how to prepare, gives you alert information, maps, and a lot more information on each individual types of disasters. So highly recommend you look into that. Won't belabor that anymore, but please consider, downloading. The next one is My Shake app. This one, it's a super amazing. It's an earthquake early warning system. It's a vital tool in your kit for emergency early warning alerts, and should be woven into your preparedness plan. It's put together. It's a partnership. It's not a Red Cross app. It's a partnership between Cal OES and the University of California system. You can find it under Earthquake Warning California in the App Store. So Earthquake Warning California. It's gone off for me a number of times. It'll believe me, it'll wake you up in the middle of the night. A super amazing. It looks like it's a green with a but it's going to show you, for example, I just want to show you real quick. This one, it gives you a map, and it actually shows you where the earthquake activity is, the seismic, and asks you if you're in an earthquake, something's going on. It's going to tell you what to do. and it's going to ask you to how much shaking. It's going to gather all a bunch of information for other folks as well. Highly recommend it as a tool. Lastly, I wanted to provide you with some information. This is the Be Red Cross Ready resource handbook I was talking about. The QR code right there will get you information on preparedness tips, family disaster plan template, emergency contact wallet cards, flash drive information. We didn't go over that, but I know you did in other programs, which you can keep on your flash drive, building your bag, home fire safety checklist, escape plan, earthquake safety checklist, wildfire, flood, tsunami, pet preparedness, as well as some information, general information about all of our resources. So highly recommend you scan that QR code. The next one is the same thing in Spanish. If you have family members, friends, family members, please feel free to scan, take a picture of that as well. Lastly, we provide this as something for resources for maybe your folks and the people you talk to. It's in, we keep this in because it offers a booklet in different languages besides just English and Spanish. It's here if you want to get this in Chinese, Spanish, and Vietnamese as well. We offer a free emergency preparedness event once a month, the second Monday of each month from 5:30 to 6:30. There's the QR code for that presentation, or you can, again, on the last slide will show how to get a hold of us, our disaster preparedness team for the Northern California coastal region. We can help you with that class as well. We also have the folks like myself who come out and give presentations face-to-face, as well as these virtual ones. So I ran through a lot, and I appreciate your riding with me on it. Again, here's some information on our email address or the website for redcross.org/prepare. Never done it that fast before. So thank you for your attention. And again, questions, you can either afterwards email us or feel free to comment and anything. No, thank you for that. That's very sweet.
Nanette, this has been just amazing. Thank you. I feel like I've gotten so much information just in one session. Thank you very much. I want to say that a couple of people have talked about Purple Air as well as the one that you mentioned. And could you tell me again which one you mentioned? Because I didn't see it in your slides, and I want to make sure that it's written down.
For the are you talking about the air quality?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get that. I can put that in the chat. I want to do that.
Perfect. That would be perfect.
Right.
I want to, before we move on to Claire, I want to see if anybody has any questions for Nanette. Sure, of course. The code for the app?
Yes, it's if you want to look for our app, for the Red Cross app, you under your apps put Red Cross Emergency, and you should get one that looks like that one with the exclamation point. There's different ones out there, but it's going to have a red exclamation point in the middle. That's our emergency app. There's also the one I talked about. We have Pet First Aid and First Aid, which are two of our other amazing apps. But the emergency app is our highlighted app, I guess you could say, the one we highly recommend.
Thank you.
And I'll get their information to you as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nanette. Any other questions or comments? All right, well, let me reintroduce Claire, and Claire will share. Let me get off of the sharing thing here. Stop share. Oh, it's on this. Okay, sorry. Too many things on too many screens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think I've stopped sharing. Claire, you have the helm.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen. Are you seeing my presentation now? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Annette. That was amazing. I work pretty regularly in emergency preparedness and response, and I learned so much from that presentation. I just downloaded the Red Cross app and was looking through some of the other resources. So thank you, thank you. I'm super excited to keep learning. But yes, as Elizabeth mentioned, my name's Claire. I'm our 211 director here with United Way Bay Area. I know you all have already learned about 211 because you had a presentation from Contra Costa Crisis Center. So I'm hoping to focus more on specific projects that we do around emergency preparedness at 211 Bay Area. But my apologies if a little bit of this is overview or review. So you all know this, right? We're a 24/7 call center. You can always dial 211 or text your zip code to 898-211 to get information about free and low cost resources in your community. I just covered this. We are available most of the state. So here in the Bay Area, there are 3 211s that all work together. So you got to meet our amazing partners at Contra Costa Crisis Center. We also partner with Eden INR. They're actually rebranding to 211 Alameda. And then us at United Way Bay Area, we cover 211 in 6 other counties. And then if you're interested, you can also go to our statewide website and see all the 211s for the other counties, as well as all the 211s in the world. And we're actually in Canada and Jamaica as well. So 211 is international. Here is just another map of where we are. And as I mentioned, this on the left, the dark blue is what United Way Bay Area covers, and the light blue are what our partners cover. So for 211 specifically in emergency preparedness and response, a big reason we've become so involved in this work is because we're already 24/7, right? It's like we already have a call center, so people are going to call us no matter what. So we might as well be prepared and be organized. We've also been around for decades. United Way Bay Area is over 100 years old, but 211 is about 40 years old. And so by being around that long, we've made a lot of partnerships with key agencies. I mean, Red Cross is probably one of our main partners, as well as all the county offices of emergency management and other leaders in this space, such as Catholic Charities and Salvation Army and so many others. 211 already has a large database of resources. So often, even if they're not normally disaster response resources, sometimes during disasters, those resources can be activated, and we'll already have those in our database, so we can help community access those. And then a big one, right, is alleviating call volume to 911. When there's a disaster, everything feels like an emergency, and it often is, but we want to make sure that 911 is responding to calls where people are, physically in danger, and then 211 can help with other things. Maybe people need to know, like, is my home in an evacuation zone, or I don't know where my family is. Where's the family reunification center? Those are emergencies, but 211 can help, right? So that way 911 can focus on those other more life-threatening needs. And then we also have multilingual support. So our call specialists are fluent in many languages, and then we work with 2 real-time live interpretation companies where we get live interpreters on the phone, and we can offer support in over 250 languages. So this is also very helpful in an emergency, because if you're with a family that maybe speaks a language that you can't find services, or maybe radio and news aren't relaying information in that language, 211 could be of service there. And then finally, so I love how Nanette was telling you about the reverse 911. I totally agree. It's like the best way to get information in a disaster is to be getting those texts and alerts directly from your county. But at 211, we get to do, we also get to hear what is happening in community and then relay that to the county. So I'll give an example. In early days in COVID, I was actually working in Monterey County at the time on their 211 program, and we heard from a city in South Monterey County that police were pulling people over during the mandatory stay-at-home legislation, and that people were pulling folks over and demanding to see like proof that they were an essential worker, which was not a protocol that was supposed to be followed. So 211 was actually able to learn that information, go to the county, figure out how to remedy that with the the police department in that city. So that's just one example, right? But we are documenting what our callers tell us. So this is where the partnership with local partners can be really, really important. And then along with that, since we're talking to community, we also can hear about gaps, right? So if maybe there's a huge storm and people need sandbags to secure their homes, and maybe there's 20 sites in your county that offer sandbags, but callers, they will tell us like, these 3 sites are out of sandbags. So again, we can take that information and get it to the right people, and then either replenish those sites or open additional ones to support the need. I talked a little bit about this already, but here are some ways you can utilize 211. So I talked about, evacuation routes. Our call specialists are always connected to the most up-to-date websites and key resources, and then a lot of the services Nanette mentioned as well. So if in the moment you can't remember how to access your Red Cross app, or can't remember which website was the best, you can call or text 211 and we can give you that information. We often get calls around basic needs, like I'm currently safe in my home, but I only have water and food for X amount of days. What should I do? We can support with that. We can also transfer folks to crisis hotlines. So often new resources will open up during disaster, and there may be additional support available. So 211 can actually be that kind of liaison or intermediary. We also do a lot of texting, so we can push out information to specific communities or specific zip codes. And then we can also set up keywords where you could text a word to 211 and get specific information about that disaster. So lots of different ways that 211 can support. I'm just going to go really quick into 2 special projects. So we do a lot besides emergency preparedness and response, but these are 2 active projects we have that may help you or your SparkPoint clients or other partners. So this, Nanette mentioned the public safety power shutoffs, right? This is a huge issue in the Bay Area. We have a lot of power shutoffs. So 211 is partnering with PG&E, so all the 211s in the Bay Area. When you call us, we will do an emergency preparedness screening. So we'll ask callers, are you prepared for a power outage that could last up to 72 hours? If not, can we follow up with a care coordination appointment and help you make an emergency plan? And so we're able to work with callers to help them prepare. And then during power outages, PG&E actually activates 211 to help supply additional resources as needed. So depends on the disaster, of course, but in the past, 211 has been able to provide hotel vouchers or access to backup backup generators or batteries. So it's a really, really great service. So if you or someone is in a power outage and you're not getting the information you need from the PG&E website, please call 211 and we'll definitely be able to support. Another one, Nanette mentioned this, so really our goal here is to get people to download the MyShake app. It's such a great early warning tool. If you can't remember how to do that, you can text the word earthquake or terremoto to 211 and you'll get instructions on how to download it. So this is one example of like a text campaign we could do, right? We can just make a really easy keyword where you text and then get information. These are resources that we actually use at 211. So when people call us, these are often the websites that we are referencing. Some of them depend on the county, right? Like the first one is the evacuation routes. Zone Haven is it's not used in every county in California. So like, for example, Solano County, they use a different system. So 211 has it by county. But for you all, these are resources you may want to check out. Caltrans is a really great site that can show you all of the current road closures. I added a bunch for wildfire. Cal Fire is great. And then also the Watch Duty app can be really helpful. I know Nanette mentioned the air quality index. That one's great. We also use Purple Air, like Leah put in chat. And then these other links you can check out for spill reports, earthquakes, tsunami, and then of course power outages. The tsunami is a really interesting one because we kind of had a practice run earlier this year when there was the tsunami warning. 211 got a lot of calls from people, especially like West Marin, the coast of San Francisco and San Mateo, asking, like, what do I do? Am I in an evacuation zone? So it was really nice to be able to kind of check the resources, make sure we were giving correct information. And then fortunately, there was not a tsunami. So then we were able to come together and learn, what could we do better next time so that people are more prepared and have the information they need. I think you've also heard a little bit about VOADs and COADs. So these are the voluntary organizations active in disaster, or the community organizations active in disaster. I know you had Brian from SF Card and someone from United Policyholders. These are key organizations that are part of all our VOADs and COADs. I put them here because these are coalitions of service providers that are most likely going to be the most active and supportive during and after a disaster. So you don't necessarily have to join a VOAD and COAD as a member, but it can be really helpful to go to these websites and see who are the member organizations, because those are some of the agencies you may want to connect with, right? You might see, like, in your zip code or your city, there's a couple organizations that you don't currently know. If they're part of their local VOAD or COAD, they're most likely going to be a really great resource to be connected with. So check those out. If you have questions about VOADs or COADs, you're welcome to email me after. In my role as the director of 211, I'm a member of 6 of these VOADs and COADs, and I'm like on the executive team where we plan the meetings for 3 of them. So I'm very, very involved. So happy to chat more if you have questions on any of those. This is just for your reference. All of our 211 data is publicly available. So if you ever want to see, who's calling 211 and why, what are they looking for, you can check that out. These are our stats from last year, again, just for reference. And then wanted to make sure you all know how people can add information to our database, because 211, we're a public service, but we're only as good as the information that we have, right? So if you know of agencies or programs that should be added to 211, especially if they work on emergency preparedness, response, or recovery, it's super easy to add into our database. So you can email us, you can do it through our website, you can call us. There's lots of ways. And then there's also, we have lots of flyers and little cards that are available in multiple languages. So if any of you or your partners ever want 211 materials, we can drop those off for you or mail them to you. These flyers and little cards we made in partnership with Alameda and Contra Costa 211. So the information on them is the same regardless of where you are in the Bay Area. And then you'll see this in the follow-ups, but this is our team at United Way Bay Area. We're a small and mighty team, but we love, we love SparkPoint. We'll always want to chat with you. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, you can reach out to any of us on this screen. And that is my portion of the presentation. Any questions from you all, either for myself or Nanette? We have a few more minutes here.
I also want to add, as people are thinking about their questions or writing them in the chat. A lot of the things that Nanette mentioned about insurance and renters insurance was presented in our financial disaster preparedness workshop. If you didn't have a chance to attend that, you may want to look at the information as it gets put up on the website. Our plan is to have a website at the end where all of this information from all of the workshops in the series will be included, and it'll have not only the presentations, but also recording and transcripts of what was said. And of course, the resources, a list of the resources that came out of all the presentations will be there as well. So this, we hope, will be an ongoing resource for people because so much great information was shared, just like today. As like, there's so much to learn about this, and having the two of you here to share it with us has been amazing. Last chance for questions or comments? I'm so glad you were able to join us. It's just been wonderful. And hopefully you'll never have to use any of this. So, but we do live in interesting countries, so you never know. All right, everybody, I'll give you a few more minutes for your day. If you have any questions and want to stay on for a few more minutes, please go ahead. If not, have a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for joining us for the series.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.